There is evidence by the United States government that the Roman Catholic Church, otherwise known as the Vatican, they own 177 million acres of land on Earth. They are the largest non-governmental landowner on the planet. They also have been found a few years ago when they applied for a $1.2 billion PPP loan from the U.S. government. Investigators found that they had $19.5 billion cash. That's $10 billion in one account, $9.5 billion in another account. And the church claimed to only have roughly $500 million, in their bank account, so they lied to the government. The church had also came out and told investigators around the world in other countries how much that they had. So, in other organizations and journalists have found that the church has claimed to have only approximately $5 billion in assets. But it's impossible for the church to have only $5 billion in assets when you look at all the properties around the world that investigators and journalists and others have found that they have a guaranteed minimum of $73 billion worth of assets. Now, the church had claimed to only have roughly $3 billion in money, but it's impossible for the church itself that owns properties all over the world to only have $3 billion if you alone in the state of Florida, in the United States, out of 220 U.S. archdioceses, 118 of them collectively were found to have 19.5 billion. So if only 118 churches, archdioceses, which each archdiocese owns schools, hospitals, churches, and etc. If 118 alone have 19.5 billion in cash, and that's just the church donation account, then obviously the actual Vatican, their bank, has to have a guaranteed minimum of 100 to a few $100 billion in cash. So all that money, but nothing for the homeless, disabled, and poor. I need dental implants. I have a variety of health issues. I get no benefits due to a complex situation. And every church that you go to that's a Catholic church, 99% of them are owned by the Roman Catholic Church. In Miami, Florida, St. Agatha Catholic Church by FIU, Church of the Low Flower in Coral Gables, which blocked me on Instagram for exposing them to the other church goers, parishioners. St. Brendan Catholic Church next to Columbus High School, also which blocked me on Instagram for exposing them for having the billions of dollars. St. Louis Catholic Church in Pinecrest, and many other churches. Each of those individual churches, I said, each of them have all that money because they're all owned by the Vatican. So when I tell someone St. Brendan Catholic Church has a minimum of $19.5 billion in their bank account, I've had people tell me, oh, that's crazy. It's not, because who owns that church? The U.S. Archdiocese. And who owns the U.S. Archdiocese? The Vatican. All the money that goes into that church ultimately goes into the Vatican's account. So stop giving money to churches. Stop giving money to churches. Give to poor people. Give to disabled people. Help us out. Do not even spend your time at the church at all whatsoever. They are the largest criminals on earth. And I say that because they commit financial fraud. They do not help people. People die all around the world because they don't get the help that the church says, give us the money, we'll help the poor. But they don't. That is criminal act. Criminal act. Criminal act. They don't care. Period.